Hey guys, here with Darren Wong from CarBuyer.com.sg, and we're in Norway driving the first ever Mercedes electric vehicle. That is the EQC you see here in front of you and going up that road to God knows where. So the EQC, the first ever electric vehicle from the creator of the automobile Mercedes-Benz. Now, it's quite interesting that they have chosen it to be an SUV, and they call it a mid-sized SUV, but it's actually slightly longer than a GLC, so it's not a small car, just under 5 meters in length. And like the other luxury SUV EVs that are on the market now, its prime competition, the Audi e-tron and the Jaguar I-Pace. This car is the battery in the flat floor of the vehicle for a good center of gravity, and there are two 200 horsepower motors, one on each axle, so that's a combined output of about 408 horsepower and 760 newton meters of torque. That's quite a lot. That's more than the I-Pace and the e-tron, although the car is also 2.5 tons. Acceleration 0 to 100 in 5.1 seconds, top speed of 180, a little bit slower than the I-Pace. I-Pace does 0 to 100 4.8, top speed 210, and the e-tron around the same as well. E-tron is slower in 0 to 100 5.7, so dynamically the Merc is kind of in between the two competitors for now. 80 kilowatt hours from total capacity from the battery pack, and that gives a claimed range of more than 400 kilometers. Mercedes says as much as 470 kilometers, but obviously that's in your gentle driving eco mode. So we're here in Norway because it's one of the most popular markets in the world for EVs, and obviously the EQC is going to fit right in place with all these EVs that we see around here. Now let's take a look at the styling. We've got that full-length light bar. We've seen this quite often in recent SUVs, but what is quite interesting about the EQC is that it does that on the front as well. This here is actually a DRL light bar in front as well. All this is a light bar. And I don't know, I can't say that the car looks pretty, but I wouldn't say the same thing about the Jaguar or the Audi either. It does look very unique. Of course, this is the first EV, so it's a spearhead of all the electric Mercedes-Benzes to come. Driven the EQC around Norway, in central Oslo, on the highway and the country roads. What it does, it masks its weight very, very well, I feel, and it feels pretty much like you expected a Mercedes to be. Now, Mercedes, at the fat end or the sharp end of dynamism, it won't be the sharpest thing in the box, but it is very easy to drive. It is very comfortable, and with the extra installation and all the other touches that Mercedes has put in, it's actually really, really refined. I think this is pretty much on par with S-Class for refinement, because when you drive, it's an electric vehicle. It's not noisy, but you don't have that whine from the motors either. There's very little wind noise. You kind of just whoosh along, and the driving style it supports is a smooth, fluid driving style rather than hair at the knuckles kind of thing, whites of the eyes kind of driving. So it's very, very smooth. It's nice to drive, and I think it will translate well to Singapore because the ride quality is very, very good, especially over bumps. It doesn't go bam, which is what some of the really heavy EVs do. Even though it weighs 2.5 tons, it never quite feels it. Let's take a look on the inside now. So interior of the EQC now, the architecture is it will be familiar to you guys have seen our recent Mercedes model reviews, and that's because it's got the two 10.25 inch screens. This one is a touch screen, but like the new A-Class and the CLA, this car has MBUX on board. That's the Mercedes-Benz user experience. So I've just started the car up, no sound at all. Vehicle ready to drive. So just make this go away. And as before, this controls the driver instruments. This controls the infotainment on the right. Just gonna scroll through. 42 kilowatt hours per 100. Not super efficient, but not bad either with the 80 kilowatt battery pack. I think in real world terms, you will do at least 250 kilometers in real life back in Singapore, and that's pretty much what the I-Pace can do quite easily. So there's a special EQ menu here that shows us 49%. And consumption, charging options. So charging options is the usual. You can take a DC fast charge. That will do you about 80% in under an hour. At home, you can charge from 3.9 kilowatts to something, and depends on the kind of power you have at home. So all these charging options pretty much up in the air for Singapore right now, but I do believe that they will give you a wall box when you purchase the car. How much will it cost? I think at least 400 grand, because you know, Mercedes is Mercedes and they tend to charge a little bit more than even Audi or Jaguar. A little close up on the EQ special features here on the interior. There's this little wraparound fins that go all the way around the cockpit. You can see them here, and those are supposed to remind you of a audio amplifier. And of course we have this little thing here. Mercedes-Benz calls it rose gold, but it looks kind of copper. So that's the EQC. If you want to know what we thought about the drive in writing, well, check out carbuyer.com.sg. If you like the video, follow us, like us on YouTube, on Facebook, and leave some comments. What do you think of the car? Would you buy one in Singapore? Let us know.